If you're a real estate agent and you're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant to 2x or 3x your business, watch this video. I'm Paris Bland with Digital Executive, and we staff quite a few virtual assistants. But one thing that most people don't know is that the most successful real estate agents, most of the time, are having their virtual assistant do a lot of the tedious work within the business so that they can focus on high ticket, high impact items. But one of the main things that I see is that when a real estate agent is starting to get going and wants to bring on a virtual assistant, a lot of times they don't know how to do it effectively, or they're utilizing all the wrong methods. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the key tips and tricks that I've seen the most successful real estate agents employ when it comes to handling a virtual assistant. So if you're interested or even maybe thinking about bringing somebody on either part-time or full-time, I'm gonna go over the 3 main tasks that you should be assigning your virtual assistant to help get that return on investment. The first is going to be appointment setting. The second is going to be outreach to new potential customers. And then the third is going to be all about maintaining key relationships. If you're a real estate agent, you know how hard appointment setting is. And really, at the end of the day, it's a tedious task that's taking your time away from more productive tasks. So this is by far one of the easiest things to outsource to a virtual assistant. And it's also going to be one of those items that just immediately gets your time back. So when it comes to appointment setting, I would recommend keeping a calendar that you share access to with your virtual assistant. And on that calendar, you need to update and keep things updated constantly. So if you have a conversation on the phone, either message your virtual assistant and ask them to book a subsequent appointment, or book it yourself on your calendar. But regardless, whenever you have new clients coming in, asking to book showings or take them to open houses, having an assistant consistently maintain and update your calendar is going to be key for planning your week as well as your long-term schedule. And especially when it comes to things like open houses or showings, it's a lot easier to have your virtual assistant contact some of these other agents, as well as sometimes the homeowner directly, because anybody in real estate knows sometimes that process is not as easy as it should be. So putting that mental burden on your VA is going to free up a lot of your time. That way they have your availability, they can ask the client's availability, and they're able to schedule things directly without you having to go back and forth and essentially play a game of ping pong. And the easiest way to do that is to share not only your Gmail, but also make sure you share your calendar with your virtual assistant, as well as any Calendly items. That way they can book things for you and follow up on any emails to make sure that you actually get that appointment booked and you actually get a close close. The second task you should absolutely outsource to your virtual assistant is new potential customer outreach. And I see a lot of agents wanting to do outreach, but they don't really know where to start. So I'm just gonna give you a quick example of one way that you can do it. There are multiple ways to do outreach, but in my opinion, this is just one easy way. So first, you're gonna start out by selecting a neighborhood. So you're gonna know your area better than I can guess. But a lot of times what I see agents do is they'll either pick an area that has recently had a really high increase in home price, or a neighborhood that tends to skew a little bit older. So they'll be targeting people who are going to be the most likely to sell or to be in a position to sell. From there, you're going to want to look up the titles on all of the homes in the neighborhood. There are multiple services that'll have lists already printed for you, but doing a title search, even though it is a little bit more of an arduous and tedious process, it's definitely an accurate way to get the current records of the home. So what you do is you go to your county registrar's office and you look up the individual titles on all the individual properties on a neighborhood that you want to target. And you can even do this as old school as going to Google Maps. If you want to do everything by hand, a lot of people choose to use MLS. But again, if you want to do everything by hand, there's a way to do that. And then the third step is going to be to cross-reference the names that are on these titles or the names of the list of the homeowners that you're able to build on some sort of service that's going to have a phone number lookup. There's multiple websites that do this. Something like Fast People Search is a really good way to get started. But by cross-referencing those, from then you would be able to hand this list over to an outreach specialist. And you can have your virtual assistant build this list because, again, depending on how you do it, it can be relatively tedious. So having a virtual assistant not only put the information together, but also verify the information if you're buying it from a third party is essential. But once you get to that point where the list is built, you're going to want to start your virtual assistant either calling or doing text outreach to those folks that are on that list. And so the easiest way to do this is to set them up with a Google Voice number. What you can do is if you have a business Gmail account, you can actually assign a Google Voice number to your virtual assistant and give them the login information. And make sure if they're operating from outside of the country, that in addition to that Google Voice number, that they also use a VPN service, because Google Voice is only able to be accessed in the United States. So using a VPN and a Google service number, your virtual assistant should be able to send manual text to these individuals. You can also use another third-party texting service. Google Voice tends to be a little bit lower of a budget option, but there are also multiple services that you can use that'll automatically send out mass text messages. The third way that you should be utilizing a virtual assistant service is definitely going to be to maintain your relationships. And this is really where I start to see the divide between average real estate agents and real estate agents who are very successful, is they lean into these key relationships and they work very hard to maintain those relationships. And I know every real estate agent is going to get their leads from somewhere else. Some people have partnerships with financial advisors. That's one that I see that's wildly popular. But I also know some folks that have relationships with home renovation companies, as well as any sort of home maintenance companies. Really anything where you'll have people that are in other folks' homes. But once you get those partners collected, and to be honest, you're going to have to do the front loading on building those relationships, you can use a virtual assistant to maintain those relationships. So I recommend that everybody create a CRM system, not only for previous customers that you've helped that might be willing to resell in the future, but also for any of those key relationships. So that's when you need to put things in like people's birthdays, their anniversaries, and just keep them up to date and in contact. You can even do that by sending gifts to anybody who is a good key referral partner and have that on site for your virtual assistant to do. So have them keep notes about whoever your key relationship is and also have the ability to send a standardized gift. That way you don't have to think about it, you don't have to approve it, but they'll be maintaining those relationships while you're out doing some of these key projects and your key work. Additionally, another really great way to utilize a virtual assistant is to also have them help you organize get-togethers. So let's say you want to throw a mixer for people that you're looking at as future potential clients, as well as some of your referral partners. Have your virtual assistant help pick the venue, set a budget, and create a fantastic experience, as well as send out the invitations. Having them do all that legwork is going to create an event that's going to keep you top of mind for folks. And I just have one last bonus tip that I see a lot of real estate agents employ, and I think it's just one of these things that ends up being key. I would also use your virtual assistant to create a newsletter. Some of the best virtual assistants or some of the best real estate agents that I see have a really good newsletter. So that way, even if somebody bought a home from you 10 years ago, they're still getting a newsletter from you that's relevant and has good information in it. Not only is this also a really good way to build relationships, let's say you have a discount code for a landscaping company that in turn can send you referrals. Your newspaper or your newsletter is a really great place to put that in. And it's all about staying top of mind. And instead of you having to use your mental energy to put this together, utilizing a virtual assistant who's skilled in social media is absolutely key. I hope you've enjoyed these tips and tricks. If you have any questions or you're looking to hire a virtual assistant, feel free to drop a comment in the box below or just send us an email. Again, I'm Paris Bland. I'm the founder of Digital Executive, and we hire fantastic virtual assistants for all industries, but definitely real estate as well. All of our folks are based in South America, so drop me a link if you're interested in learning more. Have a good one, y'all.